Hi everybody, I'm working with a couple of new products today. This video is about how to prepare the face for and then put on its products. So I've got quite a lot of redness at the moment. I've gone through menopause. I'm dealing with a lot of dryness. I'm sure you can relate. So I've put on my serums, I've put on some moisturizer. I'm now going to, I'm just going to put a bit more. I've put on my sunscreen, but I just feel like I need a little bit more moisture before I put on my primer. Now, one thing that somebody taught me is not to forget your ears, and that comes down to the sunscreen as well. And in Australia it's summer at the moment, and I know some of you in the northern hemisphere dealing with winter and severe temperatures, you'd have dryness. We get dryness as well where I live, in a place called Orange in the central west of Sydney. It's about 250 kilometres from Sydney west, so it's regional, drier summers, still quite a lot of moisture in the air, but not on my skin. So just put on some moisturizer. I'm using, for my primer, I use pretty much any primer I can get my hands on. The one I've kind of gone back to time and time again is Rimmel. It's easily accessible. It comes in a matte or a sheer, and there's one with even a shimmer in, which I don't like so much, but this one's actually quite good value. In Australia I think it's normally about $17. You can probably get it cheaper in the US and the UK. So I'm just putting a bit of that in. I'm coming to the end, so I've actually opened up the top here so I can get right to the end of this product. And it's going on top of that moisturizer. I put it all over the face and my earlobes, and I put it under my eyes as well. I have put eye cream on this morning, but I'm putting some extra so that my skin has got every opportunity to take on the base. Now, what base? There's a brand of makeup in Australia which I'm pretty sure you could get your hands on. It's designer brands, and they do the most luxurious liquid and actually powder, mineral powder foundations at a very good price point. This is the one I'm using today. It's called Luminous. It's the color shade I'm using. It's kind of not the palest because it's summer. It's nude beige. Now this one's got a glow to it. It'll give me hopefully some luminous glow on my skin. And it's also got an SPF 15. And the price point of this is actually really, really good. It's about $14, $17, and they've always got specials on. And you get, depending on what chemist you get it or online, you start getting points and discounts, further discounts as well. So the packaging is gorgeous. It's like anything you would get from Chanel. And I've had Chanel products. This is a fraction, and it's really good. Well, you see what you think. So I'm just going to put a bit on my hand here, and then I'm going to get my foundation brush, which is a Nude by Nature. It's quite a stubby one, which is what I like. I've kind of gotten away from the flat ones. There's better technology with brushes these days, and this little stubby one gets into all the creases. So I just dip it in. You can see it's absorbing into my skin really quickly. It's I'm quite red, as you can see. My undertone of my skin is pink, and a bit blotchy. Down between the eyebrows, don't forget that, into the solar panels. I've inherited those from my father. Around the chin where I'm really red. And can you see the pigmentation here? Now I take it into the eye socket. Some people do, some don't. But I think an extra bit actually helps to get in under that redness in the eye, which I also suffer with. Because I've got my hair up, it's drying at the moment, I can get right into the hairline, which is what I like to do. This is a full coverage makeup I'm doing. I've got some meetings this afternoon with clients and I want everything covered. So a bit down to the neck. Now I've used about a centimetre's worth of this product and already you can see there's a lovely sheen, a lovely luminous glow coming up there. I'm pleased with that. Check that out. I'll put it in the notes. It is Luminous Hydrating Foundation. Now, they also have a concealer. Now, I'm a bit concerned this might be a little bit pale for me, but I'm going to give it a go. And I'm going to just do it with my finger. That extra moisture that I put under my eyes is really helping, even though this is a cream based. You can see that's quite pale. It's not too bad actually. Now, some of you know this already, but I took the decision to have my eyes done last year. I had very big bags here, hollows, and that's hereditary, and my mother had it, all my brothers have it too. Now, a bit on the pigmentation bits, I'm going to cover those. See how that's a little bit pale? Too pale for the pigmentation to cover. So I'm going to go over that later with something else. But under the eye, actually a very good colour, and around the nose. Okay. Now, the thing I do use for that pigmentation, again because it's summer, is this little product. It's by another Australian brand, all organic, and it's called Raw Organics. And what I like about this is that it's a pencil, but it's a very soft concealer. So you see that bit of pigmentation there, right on the cheek, from where I was wearing a cap all these years. Went out. Obviously not enough for this Australian sun. You could have told me that. I've been in this country for about 30 years after coming out from the UK to work, and ended up staying when I met my husband, my now husband. So here I am. So I didn't grow up in this country, which is, as I found out, probably a good thing. A lot of my friends have suffered a lot more with pigmentation. So back to the eyes. I had the hollows lifted and taken out. There's still a bit there. And I also had the brow lifted, the skin sort of taken away from, the loose skin taken away, which you can see a little scar there. For me, it was the best decision I made. I was feeling really, looking like I was really tired. I may feel tired, but I just don't want to look tired. So this actually made a real difference. It's not for everyone, but it was a great decision, one that I didn't take lightly, but but something that I don't regret at all. So if that's something you want to know more about, post that and I can tell you a little bit more about the procedure that I went through if you're interested. Now, I haven't tried this before. It's a product, I don't know where it's from. I think it's an American brand. It's called Moira, and they do really good concealers amongst other things. This is quite a peachy, almost a bit brown, I'm not sure, eyeshadow slash concealer on the eyes, you know, so I like a primer. So let's see how that goes. It's a little bit pink, isn't it? I'll take it all up and see, all the way up and see what it looks like. What do you think? It's blended out the red quite nicely, hasn't it? It's very soft to the touch, very soft. It's actually taken that brown colour. It looked quite brown, but it's not. Okay, interesting. Moira, for those who are interested. Now, so that's done. Now, one cult product that if you haven't tried yet and you like a luminous skin, it sets your foundation, it sets your concealer. For me, it doesn't tend to sit in the wrinkles, but you've got to have a light touch. And it's this. It's called, hold on, Hourglass. It's from Hourglass, the brand, and it's called Ambient. It's a lighting palette, volume 2, and this color is soft light, radiant light, and golden bronze light all together. You can get them in separate. This is much more cost effective. This is about $70 odd Australian. It is an investment, but I use this every day. I've had this one about 6 months and there's still plenty left. And it's very much a light sweep. So with a big fat brush that comes with it actually, well, I mean, they recommend, this is not a cheap brush. You can get one much cheaper than this, was about $100 Australian. But it's heavy, it's got weight to it, and I keep it washed and prepped because it's a very good brush. Most of my other brushes I get from Amazon. I'll tell you more about those another time. So for me, because it's still summer here, can you hear the cicadas outside? They don't come every year. So I just put this everywhere. Just completely, you know, get the brush across the whole thing, down onto the neck. And again, lovely luminosity. Happy with that. Now I'm going to put a bit of blusher on. My go-to one at the moment is MAC. It's quite a pink shade, but again, it's summer here. So this one's called Cheeky Bits, and it's Extra Dimension Blush. Good old favorite from MAC that's been around a long time. Comes in myriad different colors. This one has got a shimmer to it. I'm using a very light touch on this, and I'm just going above the cheekbones. I probably should have done the bronzer first, but to be honest, I'm not too fussed about that. Let's just get it on and see what happens. Now for the bronzer, I'm not very good at sculpting or contouring, I should say, but this product, when I use it, it's quite a good product. It's a stick, obviously. It's by designer brands again, the Australian brand I was telling you about. It's very cost effective. And you know, I love makeup and I buy quite a lot of it. I don't like paying lots for all my makeup. the odd product like the Hourglass Ambient, a few other things I might spend a lot of money on, or relatively, probably foundation if I were to spend it on anything over and above this beautiful one that I just used. These days you don't need to. Products are good quality, they are becoming much more freely available with cruelty-free, really good hyaluronic acid and other good serum-based products which are great. You don't need to pay a fortune for the brand. Let me see if I can do this. I'm still getting used to it. This did not exist when I first started doing makeup, so I understand that you go not too low. You kind of go around the hairline a bit, but you do that with blusher as well, so, well, sorry, with bronzer as well, so not quite sure. Anyway, under the jawline and down the nose, because I've got quite a broad nose, so I am interested in trying to figure that out. I've got this sort of slashy brush here. It's quite stiff. You can see it's quite narrow. This is the one I tend to use for contouring and bronzer. I haven't gone too far down. Again, into those solar panels. Don't forget the neck, the jawline. I've got quite a fat face, so again, I'm keen to you know, show a bit of definition there if I can. Now, what to do with this, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that really worked, but anyway, that's quite good. And then I'm going to put a little bit of bronzer on with a fatter brush in those other parts, just to even that out. Okay, there you go. From this redness to this. Now I feel ready to put on my eyes.